Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Kingdoms of Amalur, and we're joining the House of Sorrows, I guess.
Speak. I have a task for you. Of late, there are many in this house who have come to view my authority with disdain.
Okay.
As such, there is need of someone unbiased by our house's history and the traditions therein. Someone such as you. We must move quickly. The Tuatha will not hold their strikes for long. Let us stop their next blow.
And Saturnin?
He is the agent of the Tuatha, and though he bears their allegiance, his appearance is that of a winter fae. I am certain of it. I know little of him, but of me and my house, his knowledge is wide and deep. With every action, he reveals that he is merely toying with us. He is not a type of foe I am familiar with, for he does not attack outright. Instead, he instills fear and despair.
Moment. I am talking to a winter fae, right? Yes. And you're unfamiliar with direct attacks and people that instill fear and despair. Yes. Okay, whatever.
You fail to understand. Although the Tuatha wage war with us, as they have with the Alfar, they do so by other methods. Our enemies are subtle. They target individuals, not armies.
I haven't
They
found
strike
that
at
subtle.
convictions, not cities. And by doing so, they can retreat to where we cannot find them. For all our years of struggle, we know only this: that our enemy is led by a Tuatha agent, Saturnin. He is the master of this shadowy coup.
Okay. And how do we find
We
him?
cannot right now. He hides himself and covers his tracks well.
I have a feeling it's
But
you.
I have a lead which you will investigate with one of our delvers, Tybri. A tender, Catarak, has fled the house and killed a fellow member in doing so. I suspect Saturnin's influence, or perhaps that Catarak might be Saturnin himself.
Uh-huh.
Bring Tybri to the body of Catarak's victim. Though dead, the sorrows will remain on the corpse. The sorrows can lead us to Catarak.
Delvers?
Members of the house may choose one of two paths: the path of the Delver, or the path of the Tender. Delvers are those who commune with the sorrows of the living Fae and the recently deceased. They draw forth these sorrows and assume them.
Interesting.
However, most Delvers lost their talent over these last few centuries. But our youngest, Tybri, shows some promise.
But isn't he dead?
The Tenders are those sacred few who oversee the decay and decomposition of a winter fae's body. They also oversee the Midden itself, for like a body, the Midden is a physical thing, a vessel for rot and ruin, that which is required for death to become rebirth.
Okay.
Finally, they once tended to the gallows tree, but that was before the Tuatha perverted it.
Okay, what do you need
There is
me
a
to
tender
do?
named Catarak who has fled our ranks. He is somehow tied to Saturnin. I am certain of it. I want you to find him and put an end to him. For if he is not Saturnin himself, then he is betraying our secrets to the Tuatha.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It seems these days that many flock to the Midden, either to jeer at the ruin of the gallows tree, or to bring ruin to this house.
I don't think...
Which are you, I wonder?
I don't think the humans in Alpha are jeering at the gallows tree. I think they're pissed off about it.
There are few places in the world that have magic like the Midden does. This is an ancient place, a home of elder things than we Fae.
It's an odd turn of phrase.
I will no longer stomach the delays and insults of Bizarrain. The house must be led to war, if not by him, then by someone else.
Uh-huh.
In days long gone by, we would enter the midden and treat the bodies to ensure that they decayed into the earth that birthed us. But now, we can do nothing. It is a difficult thing, not to know who your opponent is. No one can truly be trusted. Not until Thrythlind is stopped.
Okay. Interesting. Toying with something. Here we go.
We are a thing of necessity, so I am told. An answer to our brethren, the Summer Fae, and the court they have constructed. Can he hope for victory alone, when the whole of the house fears defeat? I applaud his determination, but I feel it will be his undoing.
Interesting. Okay.
Keep the sorrows.
And you have come to Drozer. I know of your kind, mortal. I have seen what you have to offer. War, destruction, calamity. You are better off leaving us be.
We're not really given that option.
I have seen the Tuatha as they fell upon the houses of pride and of vengeance. It was horrible and maddening. But never have I seen a Tuatha draw out a battle such as this. Never have I seen one enjoy such malice. We are the foundation upon which all Winter Fae rely. By attacking us, the Tuatha have turned their back on their own kin once and for all. Once,
The tree
the
there
bodies
that...
of our most faithful members were hung upon the tree. But now, the Tuatha have decorated it with the butchered corpses of mortals. Blasphemy!
Which is it that annoys you more? The fact they're butchered or the fact that they're mortals?
What do you wish to know of me, mortal? What of a Fae could you hope to understand? I will not deign to explain my life to you. The art of the Delvers has been passed on since the Weeping King first walked this midden. That it is now lost, it must be some Tuatha witchery. He will always be a prince of the house, even though we have parted ways. I wish him well.
Everybody thinks well of Sidon.
Be careful.
Yeah. Let's see who's over here.
You, the Siegebreaker, walks here. Good. Now perhaps the Tuatha will have cause to fear us. I am Heisener, one of the Delvers. Once they could look into a Fae and take the burden of winter from their heart. But now, the Delvers are deaf to the sorrows. All, it seems, but one.
Isn't he dead?
Sidon, the outcast. Nothing is truly solitary in nature, but Sidon walks a lonelier path than most. I wish him well. There's little that can be said of it. The tree is the oldest in these lands. Like we Winter Fae, it thrives off decay.
That describes most trees.
For too long have I been within this house, unable to help my brethren. I wish to walk the woods again. I wish to delve again. The Winter Fae look to us to appease the decay in Winter's heart. Through our efforts, all of Winter Fae are able to transcend their nature.
Okay.
I never thought to know a menace I could not see or hear or strike. And yet the Tuatha have furnished us with one.
Okay.
Farewell.
Many tidings, mortal. I am a tender of this house. What is it you require?
Are you the one I'm supposed to be talking to? I don't think you are.
Though he has done well to stand against the Tuatha, he has done so by embracing their warlike methods.
Again, you're the House of Winter, aren't you? Isn't violence supposed to be your thing?
We are the penitent ones who oversee the rotting of the world. Your kind reviles us, but without our aspects of nature, nothing would ever flourish.
I might be oversimplifying it. But then again, this game had a tendency to oversimplify the concept, which itself is kind of not as old a concept as people think it is. I think Fey courts and stuff like Seelie and Unseelie and all that is like 300, 400 years around Shakespeare's
I cannot
time.
venture into the midden. Not
Maybe a
any
little
longer.
bit younger.
There are beasts both
Older.
ravenous and cruel, and sights loathsome to behold. It scares me. I thought the Tuatha were capable only of barbarity, only of outright vengeance. Instead, we are told that the Tuatha have unleashed on us a beast of cunning, of sly vindictiveness, and it cannot be stopped.
Okay.
We lack the subtle senses of our delving brethren. Nonetheless, we are as faithful to the Midden and the Weeping King's tradition as they are.
And the
When
Midden.
the world was young, it was from the Midden that we were born, and that all things came to die.
Okay.
Sorrows go with you.
And
Tiberi has been through here again. She claims that the cries of the Sorrows are growing louder. She is an abomination.
why?
Tiberi has been through here again. She claims that the cries of the Greetings.
I
The Tuatha have sullied our gallows tree. We cannot allow them to go unpunished for this travesty.
Well, you have a
Greetings,
name.
mortal. I am a tender of the Midden. I have been instructed to offer you what insight I can give about the art of dispelling.
Sure.
Remember,
Let's talk to you a little bit more.
hello once more. If we are targeted by Tuatha, Sidon is the only one who wages open war against them. For good or ill, I do not know.
I'm going to have to speak to a Fate Weaver.
I have always felt magic's call, but in the Midden, the call is strongest. It allows me to see charms and spells and undo them. This I teach to all who listen. Once, we lived in the wilds of the Midden, but as the place became defiled, we had to take refuge in these old halls for fear of the beasts outside, and of Saturnin.
Okay, here we go.
If there is nothing else we can do, if we cannot bring a lasting peace for our house, then at least let us bring an end to Saturnin.
Interesting.
In many
Oops.
ways, we are the keepers of the house in flesh, as the Delvers are the keepers of the house in spirit. We embody the corporeal. Be warned, mortal. The Midden is no longer what it once was. It is a place of beasts and dark, putrid magic, unsafe to all who enter. Remember,
Saturnin has made a mockery of our house. We cannot allow him to destroy us without contest.
Okay, y'all have names.
So, there is a mortal after all. Bizarrain has done little in his time as king that has been quite so progressive as welcoming a mortal into our fold.
Okay.
His
Sade.
is the voice that cries out when struck dead. I see only doom for our people, and neither Bizarrain nor Sidon can avert it.
Hello. I'm the person that averts fate.
In time, they might be able to perform their roles once again. But what use are delvers that can hear no sorrow? Tensions run high among their ranks. Quiet place once. I used to watch the rooks and crows rest gently upon its boughs. But now the beasts are savage things, glutting themselves on rotten flesh.
That's what crows do.
How fitting, I think, that this place becomes like the bodies we tend. Empty, cold, and eventually consisting of nothing.
Okay.
It is said that Saturnin is one of us, one of the house. But who? Why would one of us betray us to the Tuatha?
I can imagine a couple reasons.
I have given up, mortal. It is the way of life to struggle, I think, in the jaws of death. But how can we consider ourselves devout if we struggle? No. Let us lay down our arms, let us lay upon the midden soil and pass on. Be safe.
Okay, I may be getting the fact that this is the house
I
of
am here.
sorrow.
The mortal. This house is full more of portents than of sorrow these days. Your arrival must truly be a telling of how dark these times have grown.
Okay.
Though delvers have heard sorrows in the past, there have, of late, been none that can perform the art. The spirit of the house is flagging, it seems.
Okay.
The outcast? What more is there to speak than to say that he abandoned the traditions of this house out of lust for war and reprisal? Perhaps his motives are just. But nature cares little for what one does in the name of justice. Only what one does in the name of survival.
Interesting.
The tree is ever quiet, but sometimes you can hear it groan under the weight of the indignities it now bears. Saturnin has gone too far with his latest assault.
It's an interesting thing.
I've seen this house in strong winters and weak ones, but I never pledged my being to a beast as winded and laboring as the house is now. We were greater once. We had tenders and delvers throughout these lands, not individuals huddled in worry over Saturnin and the Tuatha.
Okay.
The beast will be caught, for until now he has not tasted the strength of winter. He will pay for his crimes against us.
Right.
Beware of Saturnin.
Okay, you're just sort of switching off. Let's see what's in here. Oh. Well, here's a person I haven't talked to.
And so you come, the least powerful of us in some regards, the most powerful in many others. I am Rorid, mortal, one of the tenders of the Midden.
Interesting introduction.
There are those that flee the house, as a crow fleeing a coming storm, but Sidon is more than that. He seeks to free us from the Tuatha.
Interesting.
I have always lived my life here in this house. What will become of me when it is gone? Are our fates bound, or will they be undone?
When you say house, do you mean the group of people, or do you mean the physical building?
Nothing good remains for us. Too much has already been lost in this struggle with the Tuatha. We were hurt the most by the befouling of the Midden. Of those that bay for the Tuatha's blood, none do so louder than the tenders.
Interesting.
There is little that can be done for this place now. The Tuatha have sullied our ancestral cradle with the bodies of mortals. It may be changed forever. Be wary.
Interesting. Is there a thing over here? I've already been there. Is there a thing up here? Is this where I came from? That is indeed looking like it's where I came from. No, I came from there. Okay, so I want to go the other way because there's a quest there. And I am now officially a universalist. Woohoo! I've got the highest rank for, you know, let's see. There's a trainer. Okay. That's the Proving Halls. That's where I just came from. Okay. Let's see who you are.
Mortal, there is something that requires the attention of one of your kind.
Okay.
You have been to the Midden, yes? The sacred ground being desecrated by the corpses of your kind?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
The nature of my request is not something the Midden needs, but something the Midden should do without. The corpses of your brethren have been thrown into the Midden as a declaration of hostility by the Tuatha. But they do more than signify a point.
Their corruption and rot have drawn an ancient Lianshi Mithra from slumber. She gluts herself on the bodies and will further corrupt the midden if unchecked.
Interesting. What does she want?
To feed, Lianshi are drawn to death and decay. Something Winter Fae embody in spirit, but which mortals embody in flesh. When mortal corpses began appearing in the midden, Mithra was unable to resist the temptation before her. And now she runs rampant.
Okay, I can kill her.
You cannot hope to solve the problem with a simple application of violence. The Athra is old, and she is wise to obvious attacks on her. Searching will yield no quarry, so you must be cunning. If we cannot find her in the midden, we can force her to return to her den beneath the house. Find fresh corpses, the ones Mithra prefers to eat, and cremate them. With no food to scavenge, she will return to her den. Then you can kill her.
Yeah, okay, let me see.
It was a gift of the earth to commemorate the rot and decomposition of the Fae. Then the Tuatha sullied it with the corpses of their prisoners. Mortals do not decay like Fae do. Mortals putrefy and corrupt. The midden and the house now feel this grisly taint.
Okay, I can see where you'd be disappointed with the inclusion of mortals then.
We keep the midden as a monument to the debt we Winter Fae have made with nature. But now the midden is defiled, and we can do our task no longer. I have nothing more to say about him other than history will know him as the victor.
Oh, that's that's pessimistic.
She is an ancient and powerful Lianshi. Normally she hibernates in the midden, but the recent influx of dead mortals has driven her to feed. It will only be a matter of time before she further corrupts the midden with her presence. For the house's sake, she must be put down. It is from these halls that we of the house safeguard the oldest traditions of winter.
Right.
It must be shown due reverence.
Okay.
The gallows tree is the silent sentinel of the midden, demonstrating how life grows out of death. It justifies our existence, defines it. It is a symbol not only of the House of Sorrows, but of the Winter Fae. To bear one's corpse upon it was a sacred rite, until the Tuatha defiled it with mortal remains. If there was anyone meant to bear the title King of Sorrows, it was him. Had we not succumbed to the Tuatha's bargaining, he would have been king. Instead, we turned our backs on him.
How do I find her again?
With great difficulty. She is clever, and hides well when any come hunting for her. To search for her outright would be folly. But with some cunning, we can force her to appear. Mithra prefers fresh corpses. Destroy those, and she would likely return to her den to wait for more. Locate any fresh corpses you can find, and cremate them. Without food, she will stop scavenging and return to her den.
Okay.
Make haste.
Okay, let's look. Voices of the Dead. Oh, escort. Okay. That's the one we are right now. And when we jump down here, we'll get started on it. But that'll be for next video. See you in a moment.